Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of the Die, Laugh, Love podcast. I see some familiar faces on here, so folks who have been on these recordings before are familiar with the format. I am going to have a brief introduction, then I'm going to get into the readings, and we're going to move through some strangeness today. Now, the reason that I bring that up is because if you have watched any of my, here we go, I'm letting people in the waiting room. As we go through this, you'll see that I have gone through some circumstances where there have been spirits that have been with me as a medium leading up to these events. And I'm doing this in my live events as well, where if you're able to catch me at any sort of live studio audience event, I'm now bringing gifts and items from spirit for people that are in attendance. I think my particular brand of mediumship and channeling spirit is just like anything else. The more you do it, the deeper it gets for a person. Now, my compulsions in this way, in terms of leading up to this episode, have been pretty peculiar because I have to get a little vulnerable with everybody here. And I'm kind of jumping off the cliff in terms of that vulnerability. Last week, I would have talked about the idea of being stuck in a sort of living hell. And part of that living hell that we can get stuck in is fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of abandonment, rejection, all sorts of fear can keep us trapped in cages. Now, when it comes to that, I want to talk to you about the fear that I'm going to confront today. Now, I have done this professionally since Halloween of 2017. And every time I walk into a session with a person one-on-one or a group session, I try to ask people to do two things for me. The first thing is to walk into time with me with very low expectations. And the reason why I say that is because when people hear the words psychic or medium, they bring all sorts of expectations to those words. I ask people to forget any of the experiences they would have had one-on-one or, God forbid, watching TV. And I ask folks to bring a sense of humor because I am a big believer in what I call vitamin joy. And I call it vitamin joy because we got to seek out our joy in compensation to the turmoil and the stress and the pain that we all inevitably encounter in this world. If you are deficient in joy, if you're not getting enough of that vitamin, you will grow up to be jaded and bitter and judgy and bitchy. And let me tell you, I'm a big believer that you can lead your life however you want to, but I don't believe that we're supposed to lead our entire lives being jaded, judgy, bitchy, or even fear-ridden, full of fear. Okay. Now, when it comes to this particular circumstance, this session that I have with you today, I'm going to ask everybody to lower their expectations. I am going to be introducing a part of my process here that isn't really known to the public because I've had to discover it myself. I've had to be taught by spirit. And I will say right away that this is not going to be the standard just channeling the dead gallery reading. Now, I have done those episodes 1 through 5. I'm bringing forth the dead. You can go watch that and see that the voices in my head are actually the voices of the beloved dead of the people that I'm sitting with. This includes you. Now, in terms of those compulsions, I want to explain to you what I have to express to everybody here. And again, I might be dragging my feet because I have a little bit of a fear reaction that I have to compensate and work through. If you're personal friends with me on Facebook, you'll see that I have a really weird thing with four-leaf clovers. Like a really weird thing. If you are somebody that has gotten a reading from me, whether in person or On Zoom, you will have received a four-leaf clover in the mail. Now, this is part of the topic that I have to bring up today. All right. So, this is just an example of the charms that I give to folks. This year, and you can go, it's public, you can go onto my public Facebook profile and you can see how on New Year's Eve in northern Vermont, there was a thaw. I'm walking down my road where I live in the middle of the woods, and I found four-leaf clover number 816 for the year. Now, I share these on social media, on video, because it is outlandish. There's a lot of people that come to me and they're like, I can't find a single four-leaf clover. And I'm the guy that's like, I can't not find them. And there's a reason for that. And anytime I give those away to clients or people in a group session, it is how do I say, a souvenir or a reminder of our time together. That spirit is with us. When it comes to the word spirit, there are all sorts of spirits. As a medium, I very readily channel the dead, the people who have passed on, who are no longer incarnate in human bodies. The analogy that I use to describe the relationship between our physical world and the world of spirit is like a one-way mirror you see behind you see in a cop show. We are on the side of the suspects. Our beloved dead, our dearly departed, our spirits are on the side of the cops, where they see us, they feel us, and they know us. Okay. I'm going to begin using a word. And as I use this word, I want you to understand that I'm asking you at the same time to forget anything that you would know about this word. So, for instance, for example, if I were to say the word angel to you, you're going to bring a certain amount of expectations to that word. Angel comes from the Greek word angelos, which means Greek for messenger. Okay. I am a believer that the Christian, Catholic, Hebrew angels are also the Greek, Roman, Norse, Hindu, Egyptian gods and goddesses. There are a group of spirits that are so large, I call them the spirits on the top floor, that are universal to all humankind. And we will, as different cultures and different races and mythologies, interpret them in our own way with our own stories. But I do think that there are a lot of universal overlaps when it comes to spirits of that level. I'm not talking about those spirits today. I am absolutely not talking about those spirits today. Today, this spirit gallery is about my relationship with the spirits that you would call fairy. Now, fairy, the word fairy, overdone, overused, and in a way that I can understand it, almost at this point an insult to that actual group of spirits that we interact with. So what I want to do is I want to give you an explanation as to what this group of spirits means to me and how they interact with us. Okay. So the word fairy comes from Scotland, Ireland, around that culture. I believe that these spirits are a completely separate race. They're not the dead. They're not human. They're not the spirits that were once human. They are not what you would consider Tinkerbells. When you see Tinkerbell, the little sprite floating around, we're not talking about fairy in that way. Traditionally, the fae or the fairies are very tall, super tall, like another race of being. Now, my experiences have been since Halloween of 2017 completely outlandish and strange in a way that I have consistently been blown away by these spirits in my life. I will say that they do interact with a great deal of us, and I'm going to get into what that means but I want to talk to you about the relationship between the world of the Fae and the world of the dead, our ancestors and our beloved dead. In traditional Scottish and Irish lore, you'll see the fairies are connected to grave mounds. Now, I don't know if the world of the fairies and the world of the ancestors are one and the same, but I can tell you that there is a distinct sense of overlap. And what I have learned by doing this, in some conventional traditions around mediumship, mediums will have what I call, or what is called, a doorman, or sort of a guide. You can think of it as a spirit guide. And I don't really like that term, but that's the best way I can explain it to you. When I step into a group reading like this, when I step into doing this work, the only spirits that come through me are coming through this doorman. And what I believe is that authentic mediums, people who are doing authentic mediumship work, they'll have, and I even struggle with this and how hokey it is, they'll have like a fairy familiar. They'll have a, a spirit that is with them that helps them do this work. You can look at ancient traditional witchcraft lore and the idea that witches would have familiars or spirits that help them do what they do. I have a relationship with one of these spirits, and over the past few years, it has really, really ramped up. Things have gotten weird for me. Now, one of those weird things that has happened is back in October, I got this idea to host a retreat in Bath, New Hampshire. Okay. So the retreat I thought was a big farmhouse that we were going to rent, and I really thought it was going to be about honoring the dead and working with ancestors and the stuff that I do as a medium. That retreat turned into something completely wild. I'm about to drop an F-bomb here, and just a little trigger warning for folks. Uh, People that were at the retreat were so blown away by the things that were happening to them, they referred to it as the what the fuck weekend. Like, what the fuck weekend? What was happening to people? And I had people that participated in this retreat who had really no idea about me or any idea about these sorts of relationships that people can have. And it was wild. Now, if you go to my website, you'll see that I'm hosting another retreat in May. It's called Through the Looking Glass at the same place. And I don't advertise it as a fairy retreat, but I will tell you what, it is absolutely something where those types of experiences will happen. Now, why am I sharing this? Because I think it's important for folks to know, in the same way that humans can be very, very arrogant. Let's talk about the arrogance of humans for a moment. And weirdly, now I have to talk about aliens. It would be rather arrogant for us to assume that we would be the only intelligent life form in a universe so large. It would be arrogant for us to assume that we are the only spirits that live, die, move to spirit, come back, all of that. I have had experiences where I've channeled pets, and I have experiences where I will channel land spirits. When we use the word fairy, it's like using the word animal or tree or human. When I give you the word animal, what are you thinking of? Are you thinking of a bird, a fish, a beaver, a moose, a deer, a zebra? When I give you the word tree, are you thinking about pine or maple or palm tree? So when you hear the word fairy, you're not hearing one particular type of spirit. There's all sorts of spirits in that classification. And then there's a group of spirits that really love humans, that love to help them. There are strange ancestral connections to those spirits and us here in this world. And for me, I think a lot of what I do, my connection to four-leaf clovers, a lot of the strangeness that I'm about has something to do with an ancestral connection. I can't establish that, I can't prove it, and that's really not the point of today. Today, I am going to encourage everybody here to lead as colorful and as fulfilling and as enriching a life as possible. And in that way, as you are doing so, you are really, really, really giving a tribute to whatever you consider our creator, to lean into your own authenticity, to lean into your own special magic that you bring this world. You're really giving the greatest tribute to the creative force around us that you absolutely could. We do live in a very complicated, hurting world right now where there are so many people riddled with fear, riddled with heartache, riddled with grief. Far be it for me to say that I don't think we're supposed to be living the way we are. So part of today is inspiration to not only understand these spirits and their relationship with us, but also to encourage everybody to make the most of the brief life they have. If you've ever heard me use the term vitamin joy, seeking joy, that's very much a fairy thing. That's very much living boldly, living colorfully, living musically, artistically, all of it. One of the things that I get from these spirits, they do not like how boring we are. And there are so many of us that are boring, so many of us that are controlled with fear. I do want to let everybody know here I'm doing something special for today, and I want everybody to get my email address. My email address is the word connect at joshsimons.com. The people that I give readings to today, I am going to be happy to send off a four-leaf clover to. So anybody that I'm called to today is going to get a four-leaf clover in the mail as a special tribute to these spirits and a reminder that you should absolutely be living magically because you have this one life to live. Okay. So, with that being said, if there's anything else that these spirits want me to interject and throw in, we're going to. But I also think that there's a lot of wisdom in terms of the readings that I'm about to give that spirit will see as an opportunity to share with everybody. So, one of the things that I want you to remember is that there is this, how do I say, common denominator that happens for folks in terms of when I'm pulled to somebody here, the messages that I'm giving, well, they're for everybody. And I think everybody should listen. Even though I'm not called to you, I want you to listen to the information and the messages that come forth from spirit, especially these particular group of spirits. All right. Now, not only have I needed to bring this information to people in that way, I've also had the first sort of kickoff in terms of the person that I'm supposed to talk to here. I've been getting some information about a particular person here. All right. I do want to say that based on the way that this works, when I get connected to a person, I might absolutely pull in a member of your beloved dead, your dearly departed. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I kind of turn myself over to the process and have faith in them. So interestingly, this is going to be sort of, it's all bizarre, right? Uh, I have to, I'm looking for a particular person in this reading today. This person, I'm going to have you, I'm going to start to describe you. I'm looking for you. I'm going to start to describe you. And then if you believe this is you, I want you to unmute yourself and we're going to have a conversation. You're going to get a reading from the Fae. Or in a more polite way, you could put it, the good neighbors. There's a lot of information out there about these spirits. Most of it is just bogus. And I will say that there's only been one author that I've ever found that speaks to my experiences. So if anybody's interested in who that author is, you can message me or email me later. I'm happy to pass you along who this author is. Now, with that being said, I'm looking for a woman who prefers, I believe she's close to 60 or in her 60s. For some reason, she prefers pencils over pens. Okay, that's my one detail. Somebody who uses pencils versus pens. I don't know why that's the detail. Now, when I get that, that might be somebody who does how do I say? Crossword puzzles or Sudoku. That might be somebody who works with pencils versus pens. I get the smell of graphite, and this is somebody who has pencils. I believe that you use them every day. I also believe that there's a level of wisdom to you, that there is a sort of higher philosophical perspective that you take around most people's challenges. There's something about you letting people figure things out by themselves that is definitely correlated to wisdom. Like, I'm going to let you figure it out for yourself. I'm not going to give you the lesson. I'm going to let you walk through this. There's something about this woman being too isolated and a little bit too bitter with humanity. So I want to talk to anybody here. Does anybody use pencils versus pens?
Yes.
Is this Sue?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sue, give me a moment here. I'm going to put you on spotlight. Okay. And then I'm going to
Hmm.
put myself on spotlight. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a conversation and everybody should be able to see our faces next to one another. Okay. So what I know about these spirits is that uh, they're definitely connected to nature. And the reason why I say that is because when we hear the word underworld, we've heard about the world of the dead and spirits being in the underworld or in the afterlife. World of fairy, underworld, very much connected to the earth. And something that I've experienced is that the world of the dead is very much here with us, not in some detached, distant dimension, not above the clouds, but very much with us. Okay. Sue, interestingly, I'm going to say this with as much love as I can for you. You're not shaking your ass enough. Okay. What I mean by that is that there is a lack of joy and dance in your life. I'm feeling isolated. I'm feeling a sense of bitterness and jadedness towards humanity. Do you have that?
Yes, at times. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to ask you something.
Mm.
What good does this do you? Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm not asking you not to feel your emotions. What I'm asking you to do is to consider how these emotions can be useful for you. Okay. So there's this sense of this is interesting. One of the core principles that I'm getting out of these spirits and what they want to remind us of is grace, compassion, acceptance.
Hmm.
Okay. Are you, oh boy, ooh, firecracker, here we go. Are you are you frustrated with people who might believe different things than you?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes.
What good is that going to do you? I'm going to play with you
Exactly.
here, okay? Because there's a trickster element to these spirits. I'm
Right.
very much a trickster when I do this. So you got to
Hmm.
know you're going to earn your four-leaf clover today, mama, okay? You're going to earn it today. You're going to earn it today. We're going to play with you. We're going to play with you. I got to pull this stuff out. You are what I'm getting. Okay, you really need your vitamin joy. You really need your vitamin joy. The reason being is that you seem to be um, I don't want to say spiraling, but descending deeper into this bitterness, jadedness, what have you. The reason why I bring that up, and this is sort of like a warning, make sure that you don't allow what you would perceive as the reality of the world to become your definition of the world, the way you perceive the world. And what I'm talking about is be mindful of the media that you're consuming. Okay.
Right.
Be mindful of the media that you're consuming. TV, social media, any of that. Every bit of media has an agenda, and you got to be mindful of that. And a lot of that agenda is divisionary. Okay. So, proud, independent Vermonter. All right. I'm a proud, independent Vermonter. I am surrounded consistently by people who think and feel different things than me. I'm not judging them. I'm not going to allow them and their process to turn my heart bitter or
Right.
jaded. Okay. And the reason being is that uh, we've got this one life to live, but there is absolutely no purpose to this jadedness. Okay. Now I'm being brought back to the pencil. Can I ask you, did you used to sketch?
Yes.
You used to, past tense?
I do once in a while.
I'm going to ask you to create more.
Okay.
Okay. What I'm, okay. And this is the reason why I had to talk to a 60-year-old plus woman. Okay. And there's a reason for this. You cannot allow the world and what it would define a 60 plus year old woman to be. You cannot allow the world to define that for you. I'm going to give you an example as I'm being called to. This past year, 2024, I signed up for do two different things. I signed up to take a pottery class and I signed up to learn how to play piano. I am 45 years old. I decided to learn how to make pottery. I decided to learn how to play piano at 45. Now, conventional life would kind of teach you, well, you're too old, or, you've got better things to do, or you should, nose to the grindstone, what have you. Screw that. Screw that. I am going to rock and roll this life of mine from the very beginning to the very end. I'm going to have as much fun and squeeze as much juice out of this world as possible. I'm going to say that you are stuck like Dorothy in black and white, and I need you to kind of come to Oz. Okay? I need you to find color, life. This also message is important. And I don't want to say phrases like for a woman of your age. I don't want to say that. But that childlike attitude, Sue, being 60 plus, that playful attitude, that is going to keep you around longer. Now,
Right.
this is interesting because we all know that stress is the greatest killer.
Mhm.
Okay. Stress is the greatest killer. If you're not getting enough joy, play, fun, childlike joy, you're going to expire sooner than you should.
Mhm.
So, this is again, not only leaning into the wonderful, beautiful magic of the world that we live in, but also prolonging your health. Also, it's interesting. The things that you're paying attention to and the things that are hurting your heart are none of your business. I don't know what that
No.
means. Like, I don't know what that means. I know. That's a
Mhm.
message for you.
Okay.
I think, I think that there are things that you're paying attention to and that you're watching that are frustrating you and causing you to feel stress, but there's nothing good coming from that frustration and that stress. I'm not asking you to stick your hand, like head in the sand. I'm not asking you to put your head in the clouds. I'm asking you to be more skillful in interacting with information and messages that you would get through media. Okay. If you're
Mhm.
having an anger reaction, if you're having a frustration reaction, if you're looking at the world around you and going, how could people? Trust me, people have been doing wild, outlandish, stupid things for thousands of years. It's part of what makes humanity humanity. This is accepting human nature,
Yeah.
not giving up your standards, but making sure that human nature and your overexposure to it doesn't sour your heart.
Mhm.
Even your neighbor next door, if you've got a nasty neighbor next door or what have you, you cannot allow that person to affect your outlook or diminish the quality of your life. Now, in terms of projects and creative outlets and pursuits, you used to sketch. All right.
Yep.
What I'm seeing is basket weaving. You ever do
Really?
basket weaving?
No.
Would you ever consider it?
Absolutely.
I need you to consider doing something that you've never done before. And I really want to be that example for you in terms of this past year. I learned pottery. I learned how to play piano. If we get stuck in that paradigm that we're a finished product or that we just have to worry about work and home and all of that, we are going to grow up to be bitter, jaded old prunes, raisins. That's not what life is about. Life is about experience. Like life is a buffet. So what I'm seeing, and this is interesting because this feels very like Native American in terms of like basket weaving and the strips and those types of things.
Hmm.
This could be weaving in and of itself, but I get basket weaving. I want you, I love this. Um, you're you're a believer in divinity, yes?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to call it God for you. That's a loaded word like fairy and angel and all of that. But you are a believer in divinity or that divine loving grace. Okay. As a
Mhm.
tribute to that divine loving grace that you feel connected to, I want you to go out on a limb and I want you to learn something that you've never learned before, something that will set your soul on fire. I just tried pottery just for the heck of it, and I cannot believe how much I love it. I'm frustrated with piano because my mind isn't mathematical in that way, but I'm taking piano to stretch my mind, to keep the neurons active so I don't
Hmm.
grow up and get cognitive decline in that way. I want to like stretch my brain. So that's
Hmm.
important. Uh, I also want to ask you, are you wearing a smartwatch?
No.
Okay. Do you have anything on your wrists, like bracelets?
Yeah, I have a regular watch.
Okay. All right. Could you live without it?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of these spirits have come to me in these dreams. Okay. And they have totally established themselves with evidence and proof and all of that. I don't need to prove myself to anybody, but I want to tell you about one of these dreams that I had. For the longest time, I wore on my hand a hematite ring.
Hmm.
A hematite ring. Okay. I had a dream one time where one of these spirits took my hand, smelled my hand, and went, ew. After that dream, I took hematite off. Now, traditionally, the Fae do not like iron, and hematite is iron.
Mm.
Okay.
Interesting.
There's something about the meridians, and you, again, take everything that I say with a grain of salt, please. There's something about your electrical meridians,
Oh, yeah.
what's going on. The watch or the rubber or the metal or something like it circling your wrist is not healthy for you.
Ah,
Something about messing up electrical currents. I'm not sure what's going on. Again, this has to do with like acupuncture, acupressure. Okay, like
right.
electrical currents, energy currents moving through your body. There's something about something on your wrist that's not healthy. The other thing that I'm going to ask you to do, wow, a connection to ocean spirits. You're an ocean person?
Yes.
Okay. You used to um you used to sing to the ocean?
Oh, sometimes when I go out walking, I do.
Okay, I need you to sing to the ocean, please. There's a couple of reasons here. One, that kind of like love for the ocean, love for whatever spirits are associated with the ocean. The other thing that I would have you do is there's something about needing to get goosebumps going through your body. And what I mean by that is when you sing a song that gives you goosebumps, super, super important. Super
Hmm.
important. I need you to, there's something about if you're familiar with chakra energy centers, those sorts of
Hmm.
things, there's something about moving spirit through your throat chakra, getting goosebumps. Like if you were to sing Amazing Grace, what would happen to your body? What would happen to your mind? What would happen to your heart? You know, songs like that that would give you goosebumps. I want to ask you to do your walks along the ocean and sing to the ocean if you could, please. Okay? Um,
Okay.
that's the mother. That's the mother
I
energy.
I do
Okay?
that a lot.
You do that a lot. Okay. I need you to
Hmm.
turn it up a notch then, please. And what I mean by
Okay.
that is it's healthy for you, but I want you to get to a place where you can sing and you're singing with such passion and force that you're giving your body goosebumps. Okay. Now I
Hmm.
want to talk to you about why that's important. And here's an interesting thing for you, and I don't know what this means. When we do the things that cause us to have goosebumps, when we feel to that extent, what we're doing is we're actually marrying our spirit and our body closer together. We're becoming more embodied, perhaps more grounded in our body. The spirit can manifest more in our physical
Hmm.
world. That way we're not such physical animals where we're hungry and tired and cranky. There's something
Hmm.
about letting the spirit be more present or dominant in that body soul equation and doing the things that, and this, remember, this is for everybody. This is for everybody on this call. Doing the things that give you goosebumps, expressing yourself in that way is going to help you be more spiritually present. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Shoulder, neck issues with you, Sue.
Yes.
I'm seeing hot stone massage. Okay.
Mm.
I would go get a massage. Yes, that's great for neck and shoulder issues. But I'm seeing specifically, have you ever had a hot stone massage?
No.
I want you to go get one, please. Okay.
Okay.
There's a reason for that. The stones, earth energy. Now we're talking rocks and crystals and earth energy and all of that. There's something
Mhm.
about the heat pulling something out of your body, the pain, all of that. I would also get rid of that watch as soon as you can and see what happens for you. Okay. In
Okay.
terms of maybe anxiety goes down, in terms of maybe you sleep better, things like that. You really wouldn't have such, and I can't say this is for everybody, but I can say this is for you. I wouldn't have such synthetic artificial materials like binding something,
Yeah.
encircling a limb or a hand or something to that degree. I'm just getting that that's not healthy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Hmm. Thank you for being here. And if you're getting any sort of messages or urges or compulsions to write or write a book, I need you to listen to those.
Hmm.
Are you getting compulsions and messages to write?
Oh, absolutely.
Please listen. And I'm going to say this with love. Do it before you're dead.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Well, how many of us get those compulsions and those feelings? We ignore them and then we
Right.
die and we're like, man, when I was on earth, when I was in a human body, I wish I'd have done the thing. Okay.
Yep.
It feels like you're more of a morning person, feels like you can respond better to the quiet of your morning. So I would,
Hmm.
it's interesting. Are you an early riser, like 5 to 6?
Yep.
Okay. Try to get your writing out early in the morning before the day gets on top of you. Try to
Yep.
knock out some pages or some words early in the morning.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go to the next person. Now, what I need you to do, Sue,
Thank you.
because you get a four-leaf clover, you need to email me your mailing address so I can send this off to you, okay?
Very good.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm going to put you on mute and then I'm going to take you off spotlight and I'm going to open it up to the next person that's getting a reading here. Okay. Man, this is going to be a tough one. Okay. Okay. I feel like I'm walking into a tinderbox with this, and again, I have to lean into what I'm being told to talk about. This isn't a me thing because I like to shy away from political stuff. I'm looking for somebody that would refer to themselves. This is interesting. Okay, there's some really bizarre stuff happening here, like more bizarre than usual. At first, I thought that who I was going to be talking to was non-binary. And what I mean by that is somebody who would refer to themselves as a they or a them. I don't like we're taking it a step further. And because we have all sorts of people on this call today, I want to talk to somebody who might feel, all right, this is really bizarre. You're gonna kind of have to come out of the closet with me when I talk to you about this. I'm talking to somebody who would feel like they are two things at the same time. The words that are coming to my mind are like alien hybrid or like a crossbreed. This is really strange. And somebody who would have just had their life ripped away from them, like completely their rug ripped right out from underneath them. I know that's very specific. Somebody who kind of feels like they're walking two paths. They're one thing and then they're another thing. They feel completely outside of humanity. They don't feel like they belong. And it feels like they've just had a major divorce or some sort of like the rug ripped out from underneath them, long-term relationship completely wiped away. And then you're dealing with this sense of devastation, which is making you feel even more isolated. Okay. Is there anybody here that fits that? If there's anybody here that fits that, what I need you to do, because I can't see you, you're all up on like a row on the top of my screen. I need you to unmute yourself.
This is Dawn. I just recently got out of a 7-year relationship, but I don't know about all the other stuff.
Nope, Dawn, it's not for you. You'd have to feel like, I know this is very specific. You're gonna have to feel like you're walking two worlds at the same time, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for chiming in, but this is somebody else. Um, I know that you might not want to talk about this, but I'm going to give you the opportunity because I have messages for you around the devastation and the loss and you walking this strange world of being two things at once. So, anybody here, raise your hand, unmute yourself.
There's someone
Wait, wait,
called
wait.
Valerie who's waving wildly.
Okay, okay. So I see that. Valerie. Okay. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself.
It's Valerie.
It's Valerie. Okay. Valerie, can I ask you, do any of those things fit for you?
Absolutely.
All right, this is going to be really weird. Okay.
I know.
I think, we use the word muggles, like the Harry Potter
Yep.
word for the people that are like, they can't handle the magic and the strangeness. Okay.
Yep.
So for most people who can handle the magic and the strangeness, this shouldn't be that big of a deal. Valerie, Valerie, talk to me about both of those things, feeling like you're two things at the same time, and then devastation. It's interesting because the word that I'm getting when I'm around you is the word narcissist.
Oh, big time. My
Okay.
husband of 23 years left me via an email and went back to the UK. Left me financially and emotionally devastated. And I'm coming to realize he was a huge narcissist and completely ruined my whole sense of everything. Um, and the other part of that, the alien, it's really strange, Josh, because you and I have discussed this at one point before.
I'm not remembering. You're going to have to either
Probably
remind me
not.
or speak to it.
Right. This and when you were talking about the metal and things, we there's certain metals that I cannot tolerate. As a matter of fact, I don't wear any kind of jewelry or anything except for earrings. Um, my blood type and I can't even explain it right now because I have had a connection with um, unidentified flying objects. I was I've lost time. Um, I I believe I've been abducted. I have had um, actual burning, like branding on my body with symbols um, that for no reason at all. They look like star maps. It's, uh, and I feel like I don't belong to anywhere here on Earth.
Okay. There's a reason why we're having this conversation today. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get
Mm-hmm.
really strange or really weird. Like I can't, now I keep saying that. I'm a O negative blood type.
Yep.
Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like somebody to buy into conspiracy theories, but you start looking into like typo negative blood types, and it's the blood of the psychics and the fairies and the witches and all of that. I'm not like, I, I don't, because I don't have anything to establish it. I'm not
Right.
gonna buy into it. I just know that there's strange things out there about my blood type. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's a lot of, let's just put it this way. Okay. I think that there's a lot of human history, a lot of things that have happened to us that aren't public knowledge or even knowledge in general. And here's an interesting thing that I have to talk about because when you talk about like the aliens thing, and I'm not poo-pooing that at all in any way because there are people out there that have experiences that I can't speak because they're not my experiences. Okay. But there's so much similarity in the idea of people who have been abducted by fairy, traditionally, hundreds, thousands of years ago. Very similar experiences to what we would know in the modern age of alien abductions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need to speak to your process that you're going through around whatever narcissist or ex or devastation that you're feeling. what I need you to know is that we're going to go with the assumption, Valerie, that you are half human. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go with
Mm-hmm.
that assumption. Let's play with that a little bit. All right.
Okay.
What that is that you are still human. You're still here with us. Don't allow these sorts of things to separate you. Now, it's interesting that I would have to talk to you about this because I'm not a psychic or a medium or a spiritualist that buys into the empath stuff.
Yep.
One of the reasons why is because when somebody adopts the word empath, they separate themselves from the rest of humanity.
Right.
Okay. So when I use the word psychic medium, I have to use that because that's what I do professionally. Okay. When you are sitting walking these two paths, or you feel like you're one thing versus another versus, that, all of that might be true. Okay. I can't speak to it being true or not true. What I can speak to it being is that you cannot allow the experience that you've had, nor can you allow these sorts of stories that we tell ourselves to separate us from humanity. Now, this idea of being on the outskirts, being the outcast, I absolutely appreciate that because I have felt that my entire life. But I have to remember that I'm part of humanity. I'm part of the collective. I'm part of the community. I probably am going to have to search and dig and find people that march to the beat of my same drum. I'm not going to walk into, a sports arena and absolutely feel at home with 99% of the people that are there. But I don't want to feel different or even worse, feel better than those people. Okay? I don't want to feel separate because let's go with the assumption that you are here for a reason, Valerie. All right?
Yes.
Like you're on Earth, you're a human, half human, you are here to learn, develop, love, experience. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the experience that you've gone through with your ex, with that narcissist, and I don't want to lean into pop psychology, you can't allow those things to isolate you. The reason why I'm feeling this and the reason why I have to bring this up is because I think that there are a lot of people on this call who would buy into the new agey, like I'm an empath. Okay. There are a lot of people that are separating themselves by adopting those terms. I have written extensively about the problem that empath culture provides us. It's either a disability or a form of narcissism in and of itself. So this is very much not allowing those labels, that, oh, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
nurse and I'm better than other people, or oh, I'm
Right.
a psychic, I'm better than other people. Or even worse, I'm now single, I'm a divorcee, I'm worse than other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because how do I say? There's an overarching theme here in terms of when I was talking to Sue and she could kind of get bitter or jaded about part of humanity. Okay, we can get jaded and bitter about humanity. It's really important to, how do I say, not feel separate. To remember, I gotta get into a little hokey hippiedom here. Remember that we are all one. We're all one. Okay. I want to ask you to packed away, Valerie. Do you have old antiques, their trinkets, old knickknacks from people that you would have had in death?
No. No.
I'm going to pull this apart with you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I need you first to think about things that are in storage. Do you have things in storage?
No.
I'm going to peel apart what I'm feeling for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
It feels like there is a box of, I don't know, porcelain, heirlooms, antiques, something that are connected to somebody that you would have been connected to in death, and I would have you get them out.
I don't have anything.
You don't have anything.
No. Except for photographs.
Are they packed away?
Yes.
I'm seeing tiny little porcelain angels. Okay.
Nope. Definitely
Bear,
not.
bear with me, please,
Yeah.
because there's a reason why I'm seeing what I'm
Okay.
seeing. Would you have photographs of people that used to have knickknacks or ornaments like that? This is like older people, grams, those type of things.
Maybe. I don't remember seeing anything like that.
Okay. Perhaps I'm speaking to somebody else on the call here. Okay. What I mean by that is this. If you are also a person who's in a time of transition, meaning that you have had somebody leave you, you've gotten out of a long relationship, you're feeling isolated, you're feeling devastated, it is important to have the items, the pictures, the memorabilia around you of the people that would give you love. If they're no longer here, one popped up and said, "Hey, I just got out of a 7-year relationship."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If she has memorabilia, antiques, things that are packed away, she needs to get them out. She needs to bring them out into her sphere where she can
Oh,
see them.
oh, I have a bag of jewelry that my aunt had.
So you do have heirlooms.
I don't know if they're heirlooms. They're just things that she had.
Okay,
That
so Valerie, I'm going
yeah,
to ask you,
yeah.
uh, are they physical items that you received from a dead person?
Yes.
Okay, those are heirlooms, Mama. Those
Okay.
are
All
heirlooms.
right.
Okay,
Okay. All right.
those are heirlooms. All right.
Okay.
Was she a religious person in any way?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I would say like the little angels. If you have
Okay.
anything that's like brooches or angels or angel necklaces or anything to that degree, I need you to get those heirlooms around you. I need you to have them out in your physical space. I need you, if you like an ancestor altar or things like that. What I'm actually talking about strangely is what's called, I believe, psychometry.
Mm-hmm.
Psychometry is when there are people with these particular types of gifts that can hold on to items and feel the echoes of the people that once held them or the situations that those items went through. This feels very much like you need a connection to your ancestors, your beloved dead in terms of that. If you have those packed away, said you did, I need
I
you to
think I
do
do somewhere. I have no idea where.
I need you to find them, okay? I need you to find them. The
Uh-huh.
other thing I'm going to speak to, and remember that you need to take everything that I have to say with a grain of salt, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Please do me a favor and look at me when I say this.
Okay. Can't see you for some reason.
Why you can't see me? I'm here. I'm seeing you, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I know you're going through probably one of the worst things in the world that you've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hear me when I say this. Please stay here with us. Please stay here with us. I'm not messing around when I say that.
I know.
The world needs you. You have other things to do in this world. I'm not sure how isolated you're feeling. I'm not sure what kind of support you need, but I'm going to lean into the seriousness of the message that I'm receiving, and then I need to encourage you to stay here on this strange, fucked up planet that we call Earth. Okay?
Yep.
All right. The other thing that I need to ask you to do is I need you to maintain hope. Now, what I mean by that is this. What if the world that was ripped out from underneath your feet is making way for something better to come into your life? I know that you're feeling like you are absolutely devastated. I'm not going to take that away from you. I can't imagine being in a relationship for 29 years and having that person email me and leave.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What I need you to do is I need you to maintain hope, and I need you to tell yourself the thing that you would tell a sister or a best friend or a daughter or a loved one who is in your position. His loss, move on, hope for something new, ask and pray and hope for something new, but to maintain the hope that you would encourage other people to have in your position. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I want to talk to you about, a couple of things. Do you have sciatica?
Yes.
Okay. I need you to consider some sort of like acupuncture, acupressure. The other thing,
Mm-hmm.
genetically speaking, What I'm being told as well is that I need you to do everything you can to combat osteoporosis or bone density issues. Do you have those
Mm-hmm.
in your family?
No.
Okay, those two things I'm going to have you take a look at, which means make sure that
Okay.
you're feeding yourself, getting enough calcium, doing all the things to keep strong bones. The reason being is that I believe that you got some time to be here with us,
Mm-hmm.
but do not, you God damn it, do not leave us. Okay? You better stay here. And the reason being is that we don't stop. We keep on going. We
I
just
know.
graduate to another form. Okay.
Yep.
The other thing that I want you to do, and weirdly, I'm not sure where you're located. I need you to go find yourself some pickleball.
Ugh. No, thank you.
Do you know what it is?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have something where you can move your body with joy?
No.
Okay. I want you
My
to
body doesn't move with any joy at all.
I want you to consider doing something where you can get some sort of serotonin, dopamine, moving your body, the idea of a runner's high.
Mm-hmm.
Do me this favor. If you don't go out and get pickleball or go walk on a treadmill, go for a walk. Okay? Go
It's
where
hard to
you
do
can
that when you can't walk.
how do you, how do you do that when you can't walk?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So you're
I have such bad feet that when I walk any distance, I barely can move the next day.
okay. So what is the length of time that you can walk for?
It varies. I've walked a mile with my dog before, and then the next day I'm can't walk,
Okay, so do me
barely
this favor.
move.
Whatever
Yep.
home or building that you live in, is it possible for you to walk around it?
Oh, I do that.
You do that. Okay. I need you to
Mm-hmm.
move your body. I need you to connect to nature. I need you to do something where you're hearing birds.
Okay.
Okay. A lot of the messages that I'm getting for you, Valerie, are messages around physical depression. Now, I'm not a medical provider. I
Right.
can't provide medical advice, any of
Right.
that stuff, but I am very much getting all of the things like bird song. When people
Mm-hmm.
listen to bird song, it stimulates our emotions. Okay. When we get
Mm-hmm.
outside and connect to nature, it's super important.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I do want to kind of entice you to do, I want, I'm going to send you down a rabbit hole, and I think this rabbit hole is going to give you something to be passionate about and to learn about. This weird, strange hybrid nature of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want you to do a little research around the associations or the similarities between alien stuff and the fairy stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Knows if there's
Mm-hmm.
a difference. I don't know. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not nearly an expert or authority in any of this stuff. So what I
me either.
want is I want you to adopt a childlike curiosity to a lot of these things that you might have once been attracted to or interested in. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So at least you
Yep.
can have um it feels like you need to go back to school in this way, like a hobby, a subject that entices you, that is passionate for you, that you can learn, read books, watch YouTube videos, do something other than just stewing in your own juices, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Really, really, really important. Now, there is going to be quite a few people on this call, whoever watches this, that feels like they are outside of humanity. We will feel like that. We will feel like an outcast or something to that degree. To whatever degree, we're at least part of the human earthly community. You're here on Earth. Stay with us. Do me this favor and please get yourself some wind chimes.
Okay.
Do you have a place where you can hang them?
Yep. They drive me crazy.
It's not for you.
No.
I want to talk to, and this is really important, and this is one of the things that I have to talk to people about today.
Mm-hmm.
There are towns that people can go through, towns and cities where you feel absolutely awful. You feel like you have to get through them as quickly as possible. I'm going to talk to people about, so one of the types of fae or fairies, what have you, is land energies, land spirits. Land spirits, spirits that were never human, but part of the earth. There's a great degree of them that don't like humans because humans can be really awful to the earth. Now, if anybody goes through a town and they feel like, oh, it's just got awful energy, what I have discovered is that to a great degree, these spirits that are connected to the land, and now we're talking Native American and pagan traditions, pre-Christian traditions, a lot of them will act like an immune system. Now, an immune system recognizes an energetic signature of something that's an invader and does everything to get it out. I have felt and I have read land spirits before that love humans as much as some other land spirits dislike humans. Some spirits love humans that dance and sing and laugh. There's a reason why I was telling Sue to go sing to the ocean. When we hang out flags, when we hang out bird feeders, when we hang out wind chimes, we make friends with those spirits. When we laugh, when we talk, when we bring joy, it's really a lot of hippie stuff here. When we do that, we can work with the spirits of the land so they don't have to necessarily be our enemies, but our friends. Okay? Really important. Um, really important. Hang it out back where you can't hear it and have it as an offering to whatever spirits of the land, and then ask for help. One of the things that I do, and this is just part of my tradition and part of my experience, I go all over the place doing this work. Like I'll travel here and go into this town hall or to this theater. Something that I do is that every single time I go and I enter into a new place, I will bring a little jug of maple syrup. Now, when it comes to Native American traditions, a lot of American traditions include making offerings of tobacco. I make offerings of maple syrup. I will literally take a little jug of maple syrup, pour it on the ground, and I will say something to the effect of, spirits of the land, I am here as a friend. I am a steward. Thank you for supporting my efforts. That has nothing to do with human spirits. That has to do with the spirits of the land. And I'm a big believer that when we enter into a relationship with spirits of nature or spirits of land, they can contribute to our healing. You're a person in need of healing, yes?
Yes.
Okay. You're also a person that outside of your devastation that you're going through is somebody who you do love the richness and the depth and the color of earth and life and all of that. There is a part of this world that you have at least loved in the past. And I need you to try your best to reconnect with that. I do want you to do your best to connect with that ever land or nature that you have. Get outside, take a walk, make offerings, and most importantly, ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you need a mouth guard? May I ask you?
I probably do, yes.
Like grinding teeth?
I never used to, but I have recently started grinding my teeth.
Okay.
Mm.
I just want you to do your best to ask for some help. I'm a big believer that those spirits, our ancestors, our beloved dead, angelic energies, fairy energies, land spirits, they can all contribute to our health, well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And, people don't believe in it. Well, people don't have to believe in it. No skin off of my back. Right. The other
Right.
thing that I'm going to leave you with, and I love how this is a repeating sort of message. I ended with Sue asking Sue to write. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do your best to write about this. Not necessarily writing a book, and you might be able to write a book. We live in the age of self-publishing. You can absolutely go
Right.
self-publish a book, but there's something about making sure that you take your experiences and your pain and you process them. You don't allow them to fester. And there's a lot of healing that can come from writing out your experiences. And I'm being called back to Dawn, who Dawn piped up and said, I just ended a relationship of 7 years. I'm going to have Dawn do some writing about that so she can heal from it. There's a lot to be said about the healing of writing, journaling, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to bring it to another degree, Valerie. There's something about how your words can help other people. So this is one of those things where I think that you can find a significant amount of healing from helping other people find healing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Might not be today, might not be
Right.
3 months from now, but there's something about The world needs you. The world needs your heart. The world needs your unique perspective in the way that you look at things. So don't ever discount yourself or sell yourself short when it comes to that, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Okay.
Thank you. And do your best to give yourself the grace and compassion that you'd want anybody else in your position to give themselves. There's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a whole lot of what did I do wrong? What did I not do? Blah, 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 that you're going to go through. And I know that anybody else in your position, you'd never want them to be stuck in those sorts of circular logics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if somebody else in your position, you wouldn't want them to be pointing the fingers at themselves constantly. And again,
Mm-hmm.
to whatever degree that's not going to contribute to your healing. I
Right.
want you to at least get into that place where you can offer yourself the grace and compassion that you'd want somebody else in your shoes to give themselves. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. You got my email address, right? You're getting one of these, so you need to send me your email address or your
Okay.
mailing address, excuse me.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to take you off spotlight. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, when it comes to that, a reminder that anybody who gets a one-on-one session with me gets a four-leaf clover, whether you are here in town or whether you are virtual for me. Okay. So here we go. I am going to ask a question. So I'm not sure that he is here, but I think that you might be, how do I say, you might be a person in his family. I'm talking to somebody who I think has three brothers. Three brothers. If there's any men on this and you have two other brothers and you are one of three, I would like you to unmute yourself and speak to me. I generally don't get a lot of men in these circumstances, but I want to talk to somebody who has three brothers. I feel like these people, now this might not be three brothers for you. This might be like a dad and two uncles. Um, what I'm getting in my mind, and I think that they might be country people. The reason being is that I keep seeing the green and black plaid that I'm wearing. So I think that these men would wear green, black plaid. I'm getting like the smell of sawdust, chainsaws. I think that they might be land stewards or lumberjacks. If this is connected to anybody, I need you to unmute yourself and speak to me, please, because there is an important thing about your family that I need to share with you. So, three brothers, black and green, flannel, countrified folk. This is going to be like country, New England stuff. I'm really smelling the smell of sawdust, like chainsaw. So, this is going to be lumberjack people.
I have three brothers,
Okay. You
or
have
two
three,
brothers,
you
and a
have
half
two.
brother.
All right. So I just heard your name, Keith, pop up. Okay. Keith, could you do me a favor, please? Could you put your video on for me?
So I can figure out how to do it here.
I might be able to prompt you from my side.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So Keith, thank you. You said you have two brothers.
Yes.
Are you like one of, how do I say? Are you the middle one?
No, I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest. Okay. Are you guys country people?
We're born in Texas, so if you want to call that country.
Okay. Does anybody have green and black plaid?
No, I don't. I mean, I might have a shirt with green and black, but I don't really wear plaid.
Okay. So I'm going to give this a chance to be somebody else. Okay.
Yeah.
Might be you, might not be you. I appreciate you being here. Um, I'm supposed to talk to the people that have like the three brothers. Um, can I ask you through your dad's line, would you have any sort of connection to Scottish, British, Irish ancestry? I mean, you're a white guy, so you got Caucasian, Northern European. You're going to have Northern European. Do you know of any Scottish, Irish connection?
I believe we have Scottish Irish in our family.
You
My
do.
full name's Keith Ian D, so
What's the last name?
D.
D-E-E?
Yes.
Okay.
Middle
If
name
there's a,
Ian, which I believe Scottish.
okay, so one of the things that I want to talk to you about, and this is important because again, I'm being called the three brothers. Are these all brothers under the same father?
Yes.
All right. You want to take everything that I'm about to say to you with a grain of salt. Okay. So, like, I encourage everybody to take everything that I say with a grain of salt. Would you know yourself to have a high degree of intuition?
Uh, Not really.
You don't consider yourself to be I mean, you might not be tapped
Intuitive
into it.
person, yeah.
What's that?
Intuitive person, yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. An intuitive person, like a good judge of character. You feel things, you're connected.
I like to think I do.
Okay. There's something about what's coming down through the pipeline through your dad's blood to you. Like what happens to me here is a little bit of a genetic thing. Okay, I think it's ancestral, it's spiritual, it's genetic. There's all sorts of variables that come into this equation, but I am supposed to talk to somebody. I think it's you. If there's nobody else that's here talking about having three brothers or being one of three brothers, really important for you to know that your people have a little bit of this psychic intuitiveness. Okay. Now, I'm a believer that all humans have it to a certain degree. It exists on a spectrum. Some people have a little, some people have a lot. But what I want to talk about too, and there's a reason why I'm needed to call, like, bring you up and share this with other people. When people don't lean into this, when they don't have a way to, how do I say, when they don't have a way to tap into it, use it, stretch those muscles. There's two major things that will happen to people. And I'm not saying this happens to you, but I think this might have happened to people in your life. Two of the major things that happen to people that have intuitive psychic gifts in that way that aren't being used in any way, mental illness increases and drug abuse increases. Alcoholism increases, things like that. So I don't need you to share if there's any drug abuse or alcohol abuse or mental illness in your family. I don't need you to share that at all. I don't need you to validate that. I'm getting that message that you need to hear that there are I think reasons that are unknown to a lot of people why those things like mental illness, drug abuse, alcoholism can pop up in a person because they have things that aren't being used in the way that they should. That they feel a certain connection, they might feel overwhelmed, might have to numb themselves to these particular gifts or attributes. What I want you to do as much as possible is to trust your gut, trust your instincts, and trust that you're your own greatest authority. Okay. So, can I ask you, Keith, you take care of yourself like you're a healthy person?
My health's kind of declined in the past year. I'm just recently diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, a bunch of other things.
Are you doing your best to take care of yourself?
Yes.
Okay. That's my question for you, whether you have the diabetes or not. Okay. So, one of those things that I need you to do, please, connect to nature, connect to water. Okay. So, in the way that I was talking to Valerie about taking a walk, okay, to whatever degree she can, I'm going to have you connect to nature if you can. If you live in the smack dab in the middle of a city, get to a park, go touch a tree, do whatever you can to connect to nature. Because if you guys were born in Texas, but you have thousands of years of ancestors that would have been in Northern Europe, there's a thing that you should look into called epigenetics, which is like ancestral memory, which is genetic memory that can't be seen under a microscope. I do, I feel really compelled to talk to you about mental illness and drug abuse and alcohol abuse, those types of things, and the way that they are not. Um, when a person doesn't have the ability to lean into or have these parts of themselves encouraged or at least not shamed, those types of things can increase in them. So I think what I'm supposed to do here, Keith, is I'm supposed to give you an explanation for things that you've either experienced or things that people in your life have experienced that are Um, really unfair. Okay. The next thing that I want to do, and this is important, I'm drawn to you. Can I ask you, is there a woman in spirit that you love? And that, like, what I mean by this, not like a mom or a grandma. Do you have like a girlfriend or a wife in spirit?
No.
Hear me out on this, please. Hear me out on this. I feel somebody on your level. Okay. So I'm having a woman come through to me. And when I mean your level, I want you to think of like family trees, please. Okay. So, like, above you on the family tree would be like mom, above her would be like grandma. Okay. I get this distinct love, like a woman that would have been like on your level here, very much pouring love into you. This doesn't necessarily mean somebody that you would have been married to. And you might not know that this person has passed. Do you have an ex-girlfriend, ex-lover that has moved into the world of spirit?
I don't believe so, no.
All right. You have a lot of love around you, man, that I'm channeling.
My
A lot
mom
of love.
recently passed.
She recently passed. Was she like a sister to you?
Um, Not really. I got a sister that's her only daughter that we're close together.
Yeah, it's interesting. I may be perceiving this like love energy as like a mom energy. Okay. So one of the things that is what she's going to give me now is she's going to give me the smell of perm, hair perm. Okay. So did your mom get her hair done? Was she like a big hair person?
She used to be a hairstylist.
Hair stylist. Okay. So that smell of perm. So this is your mother.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe she permed her hair.
Yeah.
She
So
did.
if she was a hairstylist, that smell of hair perm is going to be that symbol that spirit uses. You got to know that this mother is around you. Very much needs you to know that you need to listen to your intuition, listen to your own psychic abilities, listen to that so you can navigate through life in the best way possible. This also includes being intuitive in terms of the foods that you're eating. Okay. So if you feel like something conventionally healthy for you, you just don't like it, I want you to listen to that. And what I mean by that, in this is really important for you, my entire life, I have really disliked mushrooms and tomatoes. But we get raised in a world, right, where you got to eat your tomatoes, you got to eat your vegetables. I've had the clinical testing done, food sensitivity clinical testing done, where I am almost allergic to both mushrooms and tomatoes. So my entire life, where I have felt like I shouldn't eat those things, that's really important for you to listen to. And I mean, you can take that to the next level and go get some, food sensitivity, allergen tests done for you. Okay. Okay. Were you disconnected from your mom? Like, did you live separately, like distance wise?
Yes,
Okay.
pretty much.
The reason,
Yeah.
well, the reason why I'm saying this is I think I want to talk to you. There's this message coming through from her, Keith, for you about not feeling, not beating yourself up in any way. Don't feel bad. Don't like feel guilty in terms of not being able to be there, not being there for her. If you're confronting any sort of guilt around not being close to her when she passed, I need you to not beat yourself up, okay? Like
Yes.
super important for you to get into better relationship with those types of emotional responses. But there's no way that you let her down, that you failed her, or anything like that. I also want to ask you too, was she madly in love with your dad?
I believe at one point in their life when they got married.
Is your dad in spirit as well?
No.
Okay. There's a man in spirit that she is very much reconciled with, very much happy to be there. So if there's like a dad or a brother or somebody, she wants you to know that she's there with him, that she's not alone. The information that I'm bringing you about having some sort of connection to European heritage, to some sort of like, maybe this is a typo blood type thing. I'm not sure. I'm not going to speak to that, but it's really important for you to listen to your own intuitive nature. Please, please listen to that. How do we know what our intuitive nudge is? It's the first thing that comes to us. Okay. It's the first thing that comes to us. The other thing I want to ask you, Keith, do you live anywhere near a cemetery?
Yes, there's one actually down the street from me.
Okay. Here's what I need you to do. If you can get your hands, if you can get your hands on some maple syrup, I don't know if you're still in Texas, I don't know where you are, but if you can get your hands on some maple syrup, I'd walk into that cemetery and pour some maple syrup out. If you can get your hands on some honey, I'd go and bring them some honey and just squirt some honey out onto the ground. This is an interesting thing. So, if a person has a particular act, like if they're if they have these types of gifts and abilities, more so than others, they become a crack in the wall for other spirits to come to. I really feel like it would be beneficial to you to go down to the cemetery that you're near, pour out some maple syrup, pour out some honey so that you can sleep better.
The
I
funny
don't know if
thing
you,
is, I just bought some honey at grocery shopping, which I never really do because I'm a diabetic, but I heard honey was better for you. I just bought some of that today.
you just bought honey today.
Yeah.
Okay. In a lot of these traditional like lores, in the way that I use maple syrup, back in Europe, our ancestors were leaving out dishes of honey and cream. Okay, so that's very important for you to sit with. Do you have issues sleeping, bad dreams, anything like that?
I have insomnia.
You have insomnia. Okay. So watch what happens, Keith. When I was talking to Valerie about leaving like wind chimes, asking for help with the land, with the spirits of earth and the land, I just talked to you about bringing honey down to the cemetery that you're close to so you can sleep better. Hear me when I say this. You have nothing to lose other than a little bit of honey. A little bit of honey in the cemetery, I think would go quite a ways for you. The reason being is that we get taught, like, I think that a lot of us are kind of working through a hangover around Christianity. Christianity would tell us you die, you go to heaven or hell. It's not that simple. The world of spirit is massive. It's just as wild and complex as our natural world around us. There are so many different things that human spirits do, spirits of the land. For those people that are local to me, like I'm based out of Littleton, New Hampshire, the local natives, the Native American tribe here locally, would never have stepped foot on Mount Washington. Like Mount Washington, the biggest mountain in New Hampshire, they would never have stepped foot on that because there were spirits on that mountain that wanted nothing to do with humans. For real, like wanted nothing to do with humans. Now, on my website, I have a blog section. Excuse me. You can go to that blog and you can look up a recent blog that I wrote called The Angry Mountain. Okay. Hi, Kim. Thank you for that. Kim just popped up in the chat. I'm Keith's sister and I'm making connections for him. So, Keith and Kim, this is what I need you to do. I need you to make these connections better. Okay. Like have a conversation after this. Kim, if you're if you're somebody that has Keith's blood, I do think that your intuitive nature is higher than average. So, Kim, I can't see you. Could you reply back to the chat if you feel like your intuitive nature is higher than average? It's got something to do. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Kim. There we are. Yes. A couple of exclamation points. This is going to be important if you have anybody in your family that has like red hair, red hair, anything like that. If you've got redheads, that Scottish, Irish stuff, this stuff is in everybody, but for some reason, there's a high concentration in that Northern Celtic European area. Okay. So, with that being said, Keith, please don't give up on yourself. If you're somebody who is also in a transition, here we go, Elizabeth. Okay. Elizabeth just chatted in. I had a near-death experience on Mount Washington, so I agree with Josh about the spirits not wanting us there. They do. I don't go on Mount Washington if I can help it. Though I listen to that native lore. It's important to Keith, maybe this is the recent diagnosis with diabetes that you've got. If you're in this chapter of your life that feels like a new beginning, let's say that you're on the other side of a job or the other side of a relationship, a big message that I have for you, Keith, is please don't give up on yourself. Please don't give up on yourself. Okay? Please don't give up on yourself. Super important. Um, also, and Kim might have to pop in here with some chat. Keith, are you guys in the process of splitting up mom's Christmas ornaments? Do you have to go through like heirlooms and things like that?
Um, we did.
You
We're
did.
still in the process of going through other stuff that she has.
Okay. Kim, you might have to chat in here with me. Were there a group of Christmas ornaments that were special, like with pictures or something to that degree on them, family? There's an important thing, if you can, to split those sorts of holiday or heirlooms or ornaments up equally, to split them up equally. Okay. Really, really important. Um, the other thing, too, a completely bizarre message, Keith. Do you have any hot air balloon festivals around you?
I think they have them in Vermont.
Okay. So what I want you to do is if you can next year, I don't know if you're a person that's connected to hot air balloons, think they're cool, if they're around you, but if you have a chance to go to a hot air balloon festival and see some hot air balloons go off and up into the sky, I want you to do it. I want you to find some sort of childlike joy, okay?
Sure.
I know, right? Like,
I
okay.
like skydiving, which I want to do again.
Wait. You like skydiving?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you need to go up in a hot air balloon. Okay. People are chatting all sorts of things, and I love that. So somebody just said, yeah, I'm gonna just scroll down through the chats. Here we go. I received an ornament. Here's Kim. I received an ornament from the funeral home in her memory. None of us celebrated Christmas this year. Okay. And then Elizabeth says, come to Queechee, Vermont in June. Hot air balloons, Father's Day weekend. I love that. So Keith, are you local? Are you around this area?
Yeah, I'm in New Hampshire.
You're in New Hampshire. Okay. Do your best to get to that hot air balloon festival and maybe get up in one. Do you know what I mean? Maybe skydiving's not the thing for you anymore. I'm not sure. If you want to do
No,
it, go
probably
do
not.
it. But I think at the festival, you can get up in the hot air balloons. Okay. Now, Kim, you received an ornament for Christmas from your mother. You said none of you celebrated Christmas. Here's something that I need you to take into consideration. And this is for people who are grieving. When we lose our people, we only lose their bodies. They are right here with us. They're right here with us. Interestingly, as I'm saying this, I'm getting the smell of spaghetti sauce. So I got to wonder if your mom cooked a spaghetti sauce or like a spaghetti in that way. She's probably a cook or a baker. You got to live as best you can for them. So when we lose our loved ones, we're just losing their body. We're not losing their essence. We're not losing their personality. That is right here with us. When we live in joy, they have joy. They don't want us to give up the traditions. They don't want us to give up the holidays. So, Keith, it's getting dark out. I know that probably take you a minute to get to the cemetery. If you don't get to that cemetery tonight, do me a favor, my man. Again, you just have a little bit of honey to lose. Go down to the cemetery tomorrow when it's light out. Bring bring the honey, and this is what I want to ask you to do. Just speak to the land. Speak. I mean, you got nothing. I know it might feel silly. We're not used to this stuff. Speak to the land. Literally, when I like pour out maple syrup, I'm speaking to the land, not out loud, but out loud helps. I'm pouring my emotions and my thoughts into the land so they can register it, so they can pick it up. That's something that I need you to do. I need you to bring some honey to the cemetery, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, Keith, the other thing that I need you to do, and I think that Kim might be paying attention a little bit better than you, but you got to get my email address. It's the connect@joshsimons.com. What I want to do for you as well is because you're here, you're getting a four-leaf clover, okay? Because you got a reading and I was drawn to you. I'm going to send it out in the mail in the next week or so, completely like on the house. So all I knew is just need your mailing
Mhm.
address and you're going to get a gift for me from being here. I also will say that uh, it pleases me greatly to see men participate in my events because generally speaking, men are afraid of me. So the fact that you showed up here shows a certain amount of courage and bravery to step into this position. And I want to thank you for raising your hand and being the guy that I have three brothers. So, or two brothers. I appreciate that. All right.
Yeah.
So I've gone the 90 minutes. I want to make sure that everybody here is aware that they have a connection not only to their ancestors, not only to those angelic beings, not only to the spirits of the land, but to other spirits that might want to help you make this world a more colorful, beautiful, wonderful place. And the way that I'm tattooed and the way that I wear outlandish colors and weird shoes and all of that, I am having a fantastic life. I don't give a shit, pardon my French, what other people think about me. And I'm having the best life, encouraging other people to shed their fear and have the best life as well. So when you lean into that, you're giving others the ability to lean into that as well and to have their best life. So I want to thank everybody that was here. We're doing this once a week. Next week is going to be just a conventional, I know, right? Conventional channeling the dead episode. But I want you to be here if you can make it. If not, participate in the episodes by watching them after. I really appreciate it. And I hope that folks get something out of today. So much love to everybody. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.